You know, this morning before I start the lift, I'm thinking a lot about oneness. How one becomes aligned with their sport, with their discipline, with their love, with their passion, with a whole bunch of things. How does one fuse into that moment? How does that become aligned? How do you become one with the things that you want to do? Sometimes I don't even think it's your fault. Think about love. That's just a feeling, that's just a passion, that's not really anything you can control. It can be heightened by, doing romantic things, by spending more time with someone. It can be lost by seeing something that you don't connect with when you meet a person. It can be like traded for so many different things, but the initial feeling is something you don't control. In a sport or something, there can be friction. It might be something that you actually really don't like in the beginning. It might be like, oh, I hate going and doing this. But over time, you're like, wait, I kind of like this. I like this whole football thing. I like tackling guys. I like the camaraderie of what I'm growing here. I like being able to be praised for doing well in this sport. It might change. There's a lot of things that kind of grow and evolve with that love. And sometimes it's just you finding it. Sometimes maybe you did a bunch of like coloring pages as a kid, but art really wasn't your thing. But over time, you evolved and you did kind of like oil pastels, like you got those Crayola pastels, and then suddenly you're watching some Bob Ross videos and you're like, oh, this is really relaxing. And then you're taking some art classes in high school and you're like, wait, I'm kind of connecting with this. And you're getting blue ribbons and you're getting praised and you're going forward and you're like, wait, I enjoy this. I'm good at this. This is my passion. This is my love. This is me. And then you create a core value for yourself. You become one with that thing just by engaging with it so heavily that it aligns with who you are. I think that's so cool when people can come to find that, because it comes at a lot of different ages. Sometimes it's a whole lifetime of exploration. Sometimes it's half a lifetime. Sometimes you just know. Sometimes when people, interview movie stars, like, how did you know you were going to be this awesome actor? And people just say, from the moment I was a child, I don't remember a time when I wasn't acting or I wasn't creating a character and infusing myself within that character. Sometimes it's just something that is who you are, but it doesn't matter where along that road that you find it. There's something very, very unique and very valuable about connecting and becoming one with something. In my case, I'm definitely one with the gym. I'm definitely one with the weightlifting. I'm definitely one with creating YouTube videos. I've found this sense of belonging, this sense of comfort, this sense of love and passion for that craft, for that discipline. And now it just is a defining characteristic of me. It's not all that I am. There's plenty of other things in life that I've found oneness with. But thinking about it in terms of like an activity, in terms of an exercise, that's definitely where I found this love, this drive, and this mission to go forward, I guess. So going forward, a little small transition there. You like that? We're going with target muscles today and infusing my discipline with what needs to get better, what I need to become more one with, what I need to see more of myself in. And that is bringing the peaks of my biceps up, that is continuing to push my shoulders, that is revitalizing my forearm goals to be separate for each side, each little pancake flip of training my forearms, and of course working on a heavy bench to be working towards that max out of 225 that I can hopefully get near the end of the year. Those are the goals. Those are the goals set straight out in front of me. Those are the things that I think I can reach within reason. And so I'm just going to be working towards those things one day at a time. Tie up my back pocket and get ready for the hard day. I think biceps are up first, and then maybe some forearm action. I can't really call it an arm day because I did triceps. Triceps are with my chest, so it's not a full arm day, but it's most of a full arm day. So arms are going to be very cooked today. I'm very excited to see it. Okay, firstly on bicep curls, I'm doing 40-pound dumbbells and trying to manage it for 12. Just trying to keep my back straight, keep my stance ready. I'm thinking that just normal bicep curls completely controlled all the way up and down is just going to be the best way to kind of work the peaks rather than rather than trying to go like super hard, close grip, kind of like keeping the easy bar, I think just switching to regular curls and doing that pretty consistently is just going to help build the size of my biceps, making it just a really, really simple exercise. So let's see how this works with 40 pounds to start. Okay, I think 40 pounds is good for a top set, but I'm going to drop it back down to 35 to have a little bit more control and get a little bit deeper on reps. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that first set. I think having like a good heavy top set is going to be really good for managing those reps, but definitely bumping down to 35 and still focusing on the form. I'm not trying to sacrifice, especially only moving on to my second set. I'm not trying to tell my biceps the wrong thing to do. I want to have complete control of the form the whole way through. Okay, good little work on that one. 12th rep might have been a little bit shabby, but I think that's still really good. The pump is definitely inflating my biceps a lot. And I think I'm pushing a little bit more than I normally would be when it comes to hammer curls or even Zotman curls. Okay, last set of curls. I'm going to remain as strict as possible, kind of keep my feet closer together, and really just kind of, I don't know what could make it a little better for the form check, and I'm going to have to watch a lot in the footage afterwards to kind of see where I'm making the mistake, where I can be improving. But I just really want to mainly, if I'm not doing it seated, try to control my core so my back isn't like kind of moving a little bit back and forth. Obviously, it might wiggle a little bit, but I'm just not trying to like yank it up like that. And also just overall, if I can remain like a strict uptight posture and uptight form, it can help me get the complete control of the up and down, and just, you know, on the way down, that's when it's going to grow the peak a bunch. Obviously, when you're pulling up, that's going to be like flexing it at max capacity. But even the endurance of like holding it all the way down, that's still a flexion. You're getting flexion from both parts of the movement, which is why biceps are just a very universally loved exercise, because it's very easy to feel them. Okay, that's definitely where to end for bicep curls. Whew, it's gonna make hammer curls an entirely different exercise now that I'm pre-taxed like that. But I think that's a good way to get things started, is just by exhausting the biceps, even at the first exercise. Okay, so managing 30s for each arm. I'm only doing 2 sets of each forearm workout respectively, because I really want to work on like really having hard sets isolating each part of the forearm. So the first part is I'm going to be working these pretty similar to how I usually do, but working this part hasn't been very good with dumbbells. So I'm switching to an easy bar and doing very controlled reverse wrist curls, locking the elbows and moving all the way up with it. And on this one, I'm locking the elbows too, but I'm keeping like the wrist flexion the same. And with dumbbells, that's been working. So just isolate that on each arm and a set of 20, 2 sets of 20 and working each arm. Okay, failure on that one. Okay, on both exercises, my wrists are both like tingling to a massive degree just because that is a lot more weight than I usually do, but I'm feeling good about overloading the wrist, about really getting good strain when I'm peeling all the way up. I think it's really good to keep high intensity for 2 sets like that. Okay, so I like the stretch of that first one. So second set is just mostly about bringing the intensity, finishing the workout out with the same level of strain and the same level of intensity that brings a high degree of growth and work rate to these sets. So second set, let's see 20 more good reps. Okay, definitely strained near the end, but the work intensity was a lot higher that set. Okay, basically same story for second set. Maybe a little bit more strain reps because my left wrist was dying out a little bit. But now let's move on to the second part of forearms. Sorry, I'm forgetting the words. So I haven't really got a good strategy or a good, sorry, that's a lot of zoom. I don't really have a good perspective on what reverse wrist curl is gonna be. I did it a long time ago with a barbell, but with an easy bar and weight-wise, since it's been a while, I'm not sure what the exact right weight should be, but I'm basing it off of the dumbbells, which I've managed 25 for before. So I'm gonna keep, they're 25 on the dumbbells, so I'm gonna keep 50, grab a 50-pound easy bar and just really kind of focus on that strain. 12 reps of that. I'm not exactly sure what my log said rep-wise to do, but I definitely felt like there was a lot of strain on those. I'm gonna look at the log, kind of update as necessary. Okay, so my log said the goal that I wanted to get for these 2 sets is 20 reps. So I think 50 is a good starting place. I think even if I don't get 20 reps, that aiming for 50 is kind of the good target, similar to how bicep curls I'm doing, 40. I need a good top set, a good starting weight, even on some where I'm trying to focus on the stretch. If I'm going heavier, I'm still gonna get really good benefit out of this. And I'm feeling how swollen my forearms are. And so I know that this is a good target weight for me. So 50, I'm gonna try to aim for maybe 15 reps this time, up the ante, up the intensity. Okay, that's a good stopping point right there. Whew. Might have been able to get a few more flex reps, but they would not have looked as good as those clean 15 did. So try to work on that next workout, keep pushing it forward. So carrying on the tradition of a heavy top set with a declining last 2 sets. This time though, I'm not doing 2 sets of leg press, I'm doing 3. So goal with leg press is fairly straightforward. I need to adjust this back pad just slightly, kind of push it forward. There it is. Okay, so the goal with leg press, pretty simple. My legs are already kind of pre-taxed from how hard I hit my quads yesterday, but just wanting to get 12 full and complete reps of this and just work on my power with heavier sets, because especially on leg press, I'm not trying to make it comparable to my squat. My squat is working on a bunch of different things, so I'm gonna have to always do less weight on it than I can do on leg press. Leg press is working on how much power can I press, how much can I get my knees and my ankles and all those supporting little parts of my legs ready for when I go heavier on squat. And so my body's not like screaming out in pain for encountering things for the first time. It's seen it on leg press before. Okay, pretty simple. I was a little bit further away, so I'll dig a little bit deeper and get a little bit, I don't know, more range of motion next set. Okay, I was redefining what my heavy bench is gonna look like in between sets, kind of approximating the weight, getting things ready. But that's gonna be on Smith machine in just a second. First, I've got 2 more sets of this, and originally I was gonna bump it down to 305, but I moved the seat closer, just kind of got more straight on 90-degree angle, and I think just pushing hard for 310. I think since I can manage it, since I proved I can do a lot more with squat yesterday, I just want to keep working on leg press like this and keep working on just trying to get really, really strong form and like pushing it really hard all the way. I want to have a little bit more explosiveness, and I think leg press is just the best overall way I can train that. So let's see more explosiveness. That's why first set was so easy. It's because I didn't have it close. When you have it close, when you have things a lot deeper form, that's when things get really gnarly. Based on how heavy the second set went, it's definitely going to be a big strain to finish things out with a good explosiveness. But I need high intensity on my target muscles today. I need high intensity in order to keep things very even, especially growing the weaker parts. I want to bring the intensity to the workout for the sole reason of just growing everything up to code. I mean, these are muscle groups that are underworked, underdeveloped, undertrained, not key things that I'm going to see on a compound lift always. I mean, quads, yes. Explosiveness on quads, maybe not. Shoulders, not always, but they're helping out, you know? On a bench, you're going to need some shoulder press movements, so I'm going to have to do shoulder press later to keep growing those front delts. You're not always going to see forearms, but when you're holding, pretty heavy weight on RDLs, yeah, you're going to need good forearm strength in order to hold that weight. It's all these little things that people skip, or that people are like, they make excuses for. No, I don't really need that. No, that's just kind of like a secondary thing to train. I don't need to focus on that. Well, you kind of do. What makes that difference between someone who's like a good lifter versus someone who's a really great lifter is who's willing to see the gaps in themselves. Who's willing to really be honest and say, yeah, my upper chest, it's really underdeveloped. Yeah, my shoulders, they can use some continual work. They can be bumped up to a greater degree. Yeah, my abs, kind of looking a little chunky right now. If I want to see abs, I'm going to have to eat a little bit better. You have to be realistic with yourself if you really want to achieve oneness or excellence with bodybuilding or weightlifting or just in the gym in general. Seeing your weakness and meeting it head on and being like, okay, might not want to do it this way, but I'm going to train hard to bring it back up. I mean, it's doing the hard things, It's what's going to make that difference. Okay, there's our difference maker. There's our really, really good set. That's probably the best set I did of that one. Really happy with that. Okay, took me a second to get heavy bench set up, but now got 195 for 10 loaded up on the bar. That's the kind of the target goal here. I want to get 10 full and complete reps. Yeah, that's pretty even. I want to get 10 full and complete reps and then bump it up to 205 and get 6 to 8 complete reps, and then get 4 complete reps all the way through on 225. I'm pretty sure that's doable. Especially not having a shoulder press ahead of it, which normally might be the case on target muscles day. But today, I'm loading out everything I can. High intensity, just like the rest of the workout. Really thinking about my max outs and using that to help motivate me for these harder reps. Okay, a good place to stop. I definitely think I want to have it a little bit higher on my chest, so I might have to pull the bench down just slightly, but that was good. That was a good strain on that one. Okay, 205 loaded on the bar. It's gonna probably be a target of 8 reps. I think first set of 195 went pretty extraordinarily well. Even though it was kind of an awkward angle, I still managed it out very, very well. So going into 205 just means that the focus now is on setting things up right, because the focus on 225 is just going to be moving the weight. So I'm not going to be able to gauge my cues as much, especially only going for like 4 reps. So when I'm doing these full 8 reps, it's very important to work on the scapular retraction, which is kind of like pulling your arms back, creating your arch and stuff, setting my core, which, breathing in, holding your abs and stuff, and establishing leg drive, which means spreading my legs out, planting them firm to the ground, so when I push through and I'm staying static and I'm pushing through, all the power is going all the way through my chest, all the way down through my legs, through the stable core, and down to the legs, so I'm like pushing up and keeping my butt attached to the bench. Now with leg drive, with some arch, if you need to get the weight up, you can obviously lift your butt a little bit, and then the pushing through the leg drive will allow your upper body to kind of raise to be equal with your raised legs. Like if they're all the way up here, my body's gonna rise all the way up to meet the where my legs are, and that's like leg drive in a nutshell of like saving you in the worst case of a workout. But because I'm doing Smith machine, I don't really need to be saved. I just really need to be pushing hard. So let's see that hard push. Oh, my hat fell off a little bit. Might have to completely abandon my hat for the last set, but hey, I'm still pretty happy with that good push. That was a good 8 reps, honestly. Okay, definitely decent rest period going into this last set to kind of set me up right. Gotta have some decent rest when I'm going for how hard of a strain I'm about to put on myself. So 225 is, I don't know if I've ever maxed it out before on just like straight bench, because I usually don't have spotters. I like the Smith machine to be my spotter when I'm training by myself, but I've been able to get 3 for this. So the must is getting 4 reps, the maybe is getting 6, and the hope is getting 8. Those are all the different targets, but I am going up 20 whole pounds from 205, so I can't really make myself say what I'm going to get. I really just have to focus on what I'm actually going to show up and do. Okay, so 6 reps. Definitely hit the maybe. Couldn't eke out that 7th one, but hey, I'm pretty content. I'm pretty content with getting really good 6 reps with that. I think the form was on point. I think it really hit my middle chest exactly where I wanted it to be aimed. Nothing holding me back this time. So that brachialis development, I'm telling you, that's a bread and butter for me. The brachialis, it's been growing very, very steadily as of late. Now I've been very much so focused on the pull, on the strain, but I want to get back to business and regain my 40s with complete control and form. So I've dropped down to 35, I mix back and forth, my log is up and down all over the place. It looks like a roller coaster you would see at Universal or something. There's no consistency to it. So I want to just set things straight. When I have this revised plan and I'm doing hammer curls on target muscles day, even though I've already trained pretty hard with biceps, that brachialis hasn't seen it yet. The brachialis hasn't seen the development. So I want to keep 40s and I want to go for 12. Even if I only get 10 today, I want to keep 40s. I want to keep really good form. I can do half form at the very end, but I'm keeping it as strict as possible. And I'm pretty sure I can get that for 12. I don't think that's an incredible ask for my body. I think, especially after a hard chest, I can hit this. Okay, first set, super, super crispy looking, super, super well. I just want to continue that for the rest of the set, so I'm going to get some water, get a decent rest period, but really maintain that. Okay, not a crazy rest set, at least comparatively to the rest of the things I've been doing. I've been giving myself maybe 1.5 minutes, 2-minute rest periods between everything. This one's looking more like just a minute because I really want to absolutely thrash these, increase my endurance, increase my ability to shorten recovery time. All right, I'm liking it. I feel like I have a lot coming with a big old shoulder press, but I only have a little bit left in the workout, so I'm not gonna fizzle out just yet. So I think hammer curls hits my bicep in just such a different way when I'm very strictly trying to go all the way to the top. When I'm kind of going to the top doing Zotman curls, well then my biceps are just getting pre-fatigued to where when I was doing Zotman curls first, and then I was going and really trying to like hammer out really tough preacher curls, it just wasn't working. So I think I like the bicep curls first and not like crazy intense like close ones, just like putting on a little bit more volume and a little bit more size onto them. I like that better pace in the workout to be first and then hit the hammer curls, because my biceps are still going to be like hurting, but they're not hurting as bad doing just strictly the hammer curls. Now, if I did some Zotmans in place of it, I don't know, it might be different. But I'm not trying to like fatigue my biceps to the point where I can't exercise them. Like that's kind of the fine balance you have to have. You have to manage days and manage workout timing to make sure that like, hey, if you're hitting a heavy chest thing and you hit like middle chest pretty heavy, you can't immediately afterwards be like, okay, now we're gonna do cable flies, because then your middle chest is gonna be like, homie, I can't keep up. And then you're not gonna be able to train as hard. Whereas if you just did 2 other types of workout or 2 other types of exercises and then put in the cable flies, well then it'll be hurting, but you can train just as effectively and still grow that middle chest with 2 sets rather than 1 set, or rather than 3 sets of like really thrashing it out and then having 1 set where you're just like, I can't do it, and you only get 5 reps and then you fail out. I've definitely seen both sides. I've experienced both sides many, many times. So I'm trying to manage my workout timing effectively with this. And with hammer curls, I think this is a very good pace. That is absolute bicep exhaustion. I definitely think that's a good, I'm going to see a lot of growth from that, especially just giving it a couple days to kind of recover. I like that a little bit better than placing biceps on back day. I'll say that for sure. So in the past, I've been able to manage shoulder press for a lot more. I'll definitely say that before I go ahead and start. I've been able to manage it for 50s. I guess I can't really show you that well, but there's 50s on this one day, and that was September 22nd. So that wasn't that long ago. But the last time I did it on the 2nd, it was 40s for 15. Now, I just rolled over the 40s that I just did with hammer curls, and I'm going to keep it basically the same, but I'm gonna gun for one more rep. I want to do high volume with these because I like the way that high volume felt last time when I did these. So shoulder press is gonna look like 40s for 16 for all 3 reps if I can get it there. Obviously, I'm pre-exhausted comparative to how my old plan was, where I would kind of do shoulder press relatively early in the workout. I switched things around today for just based on what machines were open and available today. But 40s for 16, it's going to be a lot. The high volume I think is really, really good for my pressing movements, my chest press, my incline, all the different pressing that I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to do it a lot more with this new chest plan. So I want to do a little bit more higher volume when I'm working on my shoulders to just get my front delts prepared for that level of strain that I'm putting on them. Okay, decent strain on that. First set is always the easiest. It's gonna be, how can I manage the second and third set? That's where my real worry is gonna come in. Honestly, I think the high volume, even though it's not like, what's the word? It's not like blood vessel bursting levels of intensity with the training. The high volume, especially, I don't even know, I'm kind of liking it towards the end, especially just having a high volume at the end to kind of like slow me down. I mean, obviously I'm gonna fatigue myself with a higher volume, but just the way it's kind of preparing me, the way I'm just kind of slowly descending for 16 reps, I feel like it's just there. I feel like it's there, and especially for this workout, it's giving me a desire and a passion for it that I'm really, really liking. Maybe it's kind of what I talked about at the beginning about being one with it. I'm in a weird Zen way kind of one with the high volume shoulder press. Okay, running out of breath, running out of front delt energy there at the end. But yeah, only one more thing, man. That workout's kind of going by a little quickly. Okay, one more final set. Go into true and utter failure, trying to push things as hard as I possibly can. It's been a really, really, really good workout so far. And so kind of finishing things off, I wanna, I don't know how I feel about
this overall lift kind of in terms of how I want the outcome to be. I feel like I've already attained it. I feel like I've already set a lot of goals this workout and kind of reached them. And I saw something the other day that kind of has me thinking about that, about like, you know, we're constantly searching to kind of go pursue our goals, but what happens when we reach them is we just look towards the next goal. Like sometimes we're kind of like, oh, I want to reach this one thing, and then we'll be happy with it. And then in the end, it's like, once you reach that, you just kind of look forward to the next thing. And I think that's a positive thing. I think to continue looking forward with goals is a very, very positive endeavor. But is there ever a moment where reaching a goal leaves you satiated more than 30 seconds, more than a minute, more than maybe 15 minutes? Is there a moment where even a decade's worth of work can pay off into an elongated period? Can it leave you happy for a whole entire week the way that something else in your life might make you? I don't know. I feel like not considering like family and friends or getting married or like big life events like that. I mean like something very, very holistically kind of different, like making the goal to reach a certain weight. Like when I reach 225 on bench, like I've been training to do, will that make me happy? Okay, well, I don't know if the existential dread of being like completely happy is satiated by these different reps, but whew, completing all that certainly made me happy. So this talk is a couple days later. I can't really say that it truly is like a post-lift talk because I'm kind of breaking things down a little bit later. But I did kind of want to get this talk out of the way to explain that I kind of had the weirdest lift ever, essentially, the other day. I didn't get to post this in time for Halloween, but I'll go ahead and like kind of show it like, bam, I lifted with wizards. If you've ever heard of something called a wizard workout, no, you haven't, because I've never heard of this either. And I was literally like just walking around and there was just a group of people dressed like fully in robes and hats and like all wizard getup. And they were like, hey, do you want to do a wizard workout with us? So mid-set, on a completely like on a whim, I just was like a part of like a wizard workout. Very, very strange, but I felt like I just needed to kind of throw it into a video as fast as possible. So yeah, there's a wizard workout for today. But aside from the wizard workout, I think what I was talking about actually had a lot of meaning. The term of oneness, the term of like me becoming one with the gym, the term of becoming one just has so many different, it's like a buzzword to so many different ideas, you know. Becoming one and really reaching a love and a passion with one particular thing. It's not a straightforward venture. It's not something that you're going to magically discover, but it is very, very beautiful to discover. And it's really that discovery that is kind of the whole key to this. It's not where you reach, because like I said there at the ending, at what point are you satisfied? At what point can you, be satisfied? Is there a problem in general by being satisfied? If you reach a place and you know that you can go higher, but you stop there, is that a crime? Is that a bad thing by limiting your potential? Maybe just chasing something that you can never reach is kind of its own reward. The one must imagine Sisyphus happy kind of idea. I've talked about, that eternal chase a lot on this channel before, but thinking of
reaching a place of oneness in your sport. I feel like reaching greatness might be this relationship of realizing like, hey, I might be reaching this amazing point by being satisfied with the journey. Because you will never really be reaching that point, but maybe reaching the point of greatness is realizing like, I've loved the journey and I want to continue this journey forever. Like that's about as one as you can get with something, doing something until you die. That's about as eternal as it gets. And so kind of giving way to that chase, enjoying that process, finding love in the process rather than the end result, I really think there's a lot that can be said for that. But of course, that's just my perspective. I'd love to hear your perspective in the comments. Please shoot me a few comments. That's my only action that I'm going to tell you to do today. That would really make my day if I could read a bunch of comments about what you guys love and what you think about oneness. But yeah, that's about all I have. So I will catch you in the next one, and bye-bye.